Yo, yo, yo. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the charts. All right, man. A lot to cover on this video. Before I get started, make sure you guys smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, we're going to uncover this hidden gem here. Okay, so the thumbnail of the video has a indicator that I've mentioned a couple times here on the channel. Okay, this is an ROC indicator, rate of change, and it will show you things that a chart normally won't. Okay, one of the things that I highlight in that thumbnail is this support and resistance trend line. As you can see from the video, breakout imminent. Obviously, we have ourselves a narrowing flag formation here. Now, this video is going to cover more than just the breakout here that we're expecting to happen. We're going to go into the whole cycle thing and cover a few other things. But this is just to show you guys that the support and resistance levels that are currently being respected followed a little bit better on this indicator, right? Like, we can't draw these trend lines with AMC chart. We can't. There's only been, like, if we take it from the point at which we're taking the high and the low here for both of these trend lines, like, we can't get the same effect. Like, this is not going to give us that. And that's what this indicator is really good at doing. I mean, it measures the rate of change over a set period of time. In this case, I'm using 50, okay? And then from every 50 bars, so on the daily chart, every 50 bars, it resets back to 0. That way you can really see what's going on the macro charts. Okay, so with that, we definitely have some consolidation taking place here, right? AMC is just consolidating in this parallel channel. That is something we can see on the AMC chart, right? We can see that it is trading in a parallel channel, and it's just back and forth, right? And you know, we covered this a few times on the previous streams and videos where the market maker here, like the goal of the market maker is to, right, collect high premiums and then focus on theta, right? Theta channels are pretty much the worst when it comes to stocks that have high volatility, because you experience a high volatility, right? They sell these high premiums for these contracts. They bring the price back down, and then people keep buying calls. They keep buying puts, and these guys just trade the charts sideways, right? The price is trading sideways. Okay. So looking at this indicator is important because, again, it's telling us that a breakout is coming, whether it's up or down, right? It's telling us that this flag is either going to get bigger, it's going to turn into something else, or, right, we are going to experience a nice push to either the upside or the downside, right? And I've said this over and over again, guys. My opinion on the macro still holds, right? I still believe AMC is going to keep going higher and higher, right? And I've covered this, you know, various different ways every single video. I talk about the cycle, right? And I talk about the pattern, historical pattern correlation with reference matches that we find using Plotzy, the pattern scanner. Okay, all these things are very important, and I do want to talk about that in this video. So we're going to go ahead and pull some of these reference patterns up again and see where we are in the cycle. All right. Awesome. Okay. So a few things to track here. The most recent tracking that we have right now as far as the cycle goes, right? We understand that AMC is trading in this macro accumulation phase. Now, this is, for some reason, I'm not going to say for some reason, but you guys already know the drill here. TradingView just likes to mess with my charts, right? What's going on, man? What's going on? Okay, so we know that it's in a form of accumulation. I see, at least that's what it seems to be. Okay, if it's not accumulation, guys, then this would be considered, this entire section here would actually be considered redistribution if we see the price fall back down. again, that's not the thesis here. That's not what I think. I think we're headed to a reaccumulation phase, and this is the start of it. Okay. All right. The first chart I pulled up comparing this entire sequence here to the AMC sequence right now is Carvana, right? We talk about its form of accumulation, exiting accumulation, and then going into an advancing stage. Okay, it took about a year to do that. AMC has really just been doing this for a few months, right? It's still in the early stages, and this is the thing about accumulation, guys. They bring the price up, they bring it back down, they trade sideways for a while, and then it starts climbing up. But we still don't have that confirmation. We need the confirmation before we can say, right, that this is going to be a macro bullish chart now. Like, finally, over the last 3 years, AMC is just trading in a distribution, right? And now we definitely want to see it turn around here for the long run. Okay. Now with the cycle here, okay, we track something in this channel, right? Something that we found way back here in November of 2021. And there was a cycle that tracks a good it's a good correlation with some of these volatility events we experience. We call them POIs. And the 120-day cycle, the 62-day cycle, is relevant to track here because again, the correlation is strong. There's a strong correlation with that time period. So right now, the tracking for the next cycle will be sometime in August. Okay. Now it goes both ways with the cycle right now. You have to track indicators. You have to track other things that are happening in the market. One of the things that I spoke about this on the last video was the NVIDIA and Apple correlation we had with 2020. 'Cause Apple had a split in 2020, and we saw this liquidity, this most recent liquidity that was being used for NVIDIA here, and there was a strong correlation with that, guys. The crypto craze is what we call it, versus the meme stock basket here that was used this time for NVIDIA. Because, guys, you got to remember that this is pennies to what these guys are doing in the actual, these big markets, right? We know that options have a strong impact, right, in the way that price is driven here, but most liquidity, this liquidity does not match with the liquidity that is happening inside these other markets like NVIDIA, right? These bigger guys. So that's why they start pumping a bunch of smaller stocks, right? They start pumping them. They collect a bunch of money, and it just kind of rinses and repeats with other stocks in the market. And that's the whole thing here, right? We have that is a strong correlation. We understand that back in 2020, the two had done pretty much the same thing. And this is AMC, GameStop versus like Mara, Riot, and some of the other crypto guys that were pumping at the time. And they were doing something very similar, right? We pulled up the accumulation, which ended up turning into reaccumulation and advancing in 2021. Okay, so all that still holds. All of that is still tracking. But what I want to focus on right now the most is this entire section here, this declining into redistribution, because a lot of these patterns that we're tracking right now, okay, we're tracking the accumulation part, and it has high correlation, right? But there's a lot of other patterns that also have this happening right here, a lot of them, and a lot of these we pulled up on the scanner. Again, here are a few others that we are tracking. Yeah, I'll just kind of pull them up one by one. All of these are still calling for upside in this reaccumulation phase going into the next POI. All right. This is one that, let's see, I'm going to be pulling up a lot here, guys, but okay, so a few that we're tracking on the macro right here. I don't know why I can't find them. Here we go. Here's one. Okay, here's the other. 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 All right, all of these, what they have in common is the declining to redistribution and then accumulation, right? All of these are one-to-one. What that means is that the scanner, right, it found a section, right? It's not scanning for, the parameter I used specifically for this was 250 days that it was scanning, so it did get this bit back here. But what's cool about the scanner is that it then gives you the projection, right, based on what these stocks did back at that time period, in that time period. And we can see that all of these exit that same phase in their own way, right? But what we know here is that a lot of them, after they had that initial volatility spike, which happens in accumulation, after that happened, it took some time. They consolidated for a little bit, and in their own way, some of them were climbing, right? They showed a little bit more support on the way up. They were creating higher lows and higher highs, which is good when you're going on the way up. And some of them did have fake outs, right? They would come back down and kind of fake out and then make their way back up. Others remained flat. They were leveled. But none of them went into another distribution phase. That's the important part here, is that none of them did that. And that's why, I say this every video, but like AMC, even though it's trading sideways in this range, is just choppy, parallel channel, or even on the indicator, right, that we saw on the daily chart here in a consolidation flag, right? Even though this is happening, like AMC hasn't fallen below its previous low, it's still creating higher lows on both, right? On the changes indicator and on the actual chart. It's still creating higher lows, which is very important. And the trajectory, guys, still points up, right? It still points up. So all this stuff matters, right? Even though it's choppy in this range, as soon as we exit that, as soon as we exit it and we get a clearer confirmation here that this is going to turn around, it's going to be a lot easier to track what AMC is going to be doing moving forward in these next couple of months. And that's the exciting part about it, right? So yeah, guys, man, that's pretty much it for the video. Just kind of covering a lot of what we know has been happening. And yeah, we're just going to keep waiting and checking things off as they come, okay? As they come. We talk about all this stuff, guys, on the Discord with a bunch of other stocks. Again, we talked about the correlation with NVIDIA, Apple, DJT, and Nikola back in 2020. And those two, I talk about these plays because they just happened, but these were sent out on the Discord. They're trades, okay? And then here's the NVIDIA one as well. Okay, and all these are used with this same cycle analysis approach. Okay, all these are taken the same way. And there's also Plotzy, the scanner, will be available on the Discord as well. So come and check all that stuff out. All right, give it a try. Links down below, and I will see you guys on the next stream. All right.